Good morning, YouTube. My name is Alex. Welcome back to the Lifting Nomad. And if you're like me and you've been working remote the last few years, you likely have found it a little bit challenging to get in that daily activity, whether that's like 10, 15,000 steps, whatever it may be. So in this video, I want to go over three really simple tricks that I've been using to help me get more steps throughout the day and just more movement. I'm someone who lived a pretty sedentary lifestyle before COVID, playing a lot of video games growing up, and now with the 9 to 5, I really want to make sure I'm living, healthy and active while still maintaining that 9 to 5. So without further ado, let's get into this. All right, so first things first, there's a couple surefire ways that you can increase your activity throughout the day that are kind of bordering cheating, I think, but they're really, they're pretty expensive too. So the first thing I would say is an under desk treadmill. Really popular right now. People who have standing desks, you can go up, then you roll in a treadmill and you walk throughout the day. You can definitely get a lot of steps this way. It's just challenging for, like myself, I'm in sales, so a lot of times I'm on sales calls or demos where I have video on, and it's a little weird if you're like just bobbing around the whole time. And then the second part, if I'm trying to focus, like let's say doing leads or account management or updating my Salesforce, sometimes it can be difficult to focus on that while also like having music going in the background or drinking a coffee and then also doing steps. So for me, it wasn't really that conducive. I do have a standing desk that I love and I pace while I'm doing cold calls and move around while I'm in meetings, but overall the walking treadmill under the desk, I couldn't really see the benefit of it. They're pretty expensive for good ones too. I know like the cheaper ones, like less than $500, they're burning out really quickly. So for me, that was kind of scary to think about, just spending that money just to have it burn out in a couple months. So I decided against that. Okay, tip number one, easy way to get in steps throughout the day is to look at your calendar throughout the day, depending on your type of work. If you're programming, this may be a little bit difficult, but if you're in a job that has any kind of meetings throughout the day, one of the biggest things I noticed is actually just taking my phone out and doing a walk while on these meetings. Most of the time I'm in internal meetings, I don't need to be on camera at all. Most of the time I don't even talk, I'm just there to be there, I guess, and I can just walk and listen to the call instead of being on video. I don't usually need to see what's going on the screen either, so most of the time my phone's in my pocket, I'm just AirPods in, walking down the street, getting some fresh air and getting some steps in throughout the day while doing that. A couple of things that actually helps with as well is you're able to focus, I find, more on the meeting that way. Typically when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm in an all hands, let's say, everybody in the company's in the meeting, I'm like getting distracted. I've got LinkedIn up or Reddit up or I'm Amazon shopping or something that's distracting me. But when I'm outside, actually walking and listening to the call, I find I'm actually focused more and retaining more of that information. And then when I get back home, I usually try and write down as much as I could remember from that meeting. That way I'm able to retain that information. Now, tip number two is pretty important, and I know a lot of people on LinkedIn really advocate for this as well. That is just blocking out your time to accommodate for breaks. All of us are going to take breaks. I don't care who you are, whether you're Elon Musk or not. So, he says he works 100 hours, sleeping in the office, all that bullshit. You have to take breaks. You have to go to the bathroom, you have to get food, you have to get coffee, or you're just like stressed out of your mind, or you're just bored, and you're gonna go outside or do something. So the best thing I've found is actually to schedule these breaks and to plan for them. So when you're blocking out your calendar for the day, you've got your opening meeting, your team meeting, a couple customer calls, lunch, actually break it into chunks, and Google Calendar can do this automatically if you set it so you end meetings early. Set your 1 hour meetings to 50 minutes, and every time you have that 10-minute block, go for a walk around the house, get outside if you can. I know a lot of people live in condos, so that's a little bit difficult, but you can definitely get your steps in inside as well. When I'm doing sales calls, I'm almost always pacing. If I'm camera off on a call, there's like a 90% chance I'm pacing with my standing desk up. I find it helps me think better. As you can see, like I'm a very visual communicator. I have my hands going all the time, and when I'm pacing, I'm actually basically doing this and talking out loud and moving my hands and thinking about what I'm saying. So it makes it a little bit easier to get steps in throughout the day. Like for instance, today, I haven't really done too much. I worked out this morning and then just went for a walk over lunch. It is 1:45 p.m. and I'm at 11,000 steps. And that's just with one walk for about 35 minutes over lunch, and then my constant pacing throughout the day. It really, really does add up. This year, I'm averaging 14,500 steps a day for 2022, which is quite a lot, I think, for a whole year. Some people, on vacation may get that, or if they're backpacking or something, but for a whole year average, that's pretty high, I think. So this is one of the ways I've been able to do that pretty easily. All right, tip number 3 is a little bit more of a controversial one, as I know finance and budgeting right now is tough for a lot of people, and I don't want to be ignorant to that fact. But if you do have the luxury or the ability to do so, I've found actually going walking to get coffee in the mornings to be a great way to get additional steps in throughout the day. I have a homemaker, I have a Keurig, I have an espresso. But there's a coffee shop in my town right now that makes like an Americano for like $3, and I'm paying $1.50 for an espresso pods usually. So it's not it's not that big of a difference, and I'm only doing it a few times a week, right? So it ends up being like maybe $50 a month, let's say, maybe, for me to get those extra steps in and also get some fresh air and walk around the town and see some new faces. I find when I'm just doing the same routine, making my coffee at home, working at home, working out in the garage, like staying around the house too much, I get a little stir crazy and my creative juices kind of get cut off. So I try going into town, seeing new people, and at least getting like a breath of fresh air, trying to talk to the barista or talk to people in the store and get a bit of dialogue going to get my brain working in that sort of creative mode where I have my coffee, I come back to the house, I log in, I get into the work from home zone, and I already am caffeinated and ready to go. So that's it. Pretty short video today. I'm just gonna try and create a little bit more content. I think the ability to do so is there now. I have the ideas, I have the momentum, and there's a lot of content I think I can cover. So my goal is really to shoot for like 5 to 10 minute videos. I've got a few over 10 minutes, but I know on average, people's attention span really isn't there. So hopefully this video gave you a little bit of inspiration on how to get some more steps and activity throughout the day. If this was useful, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content down below. Otherwise, my name is Alex. Welcome to Lifting Nomad, and we'll see you next time. Peace.